A man kicks a ball into a net. 30 seconds later, his face is on magazine covers in 40 different countries. His phone won't stop buzzing for a year. Strangers cry when they see him in the street. One goal, one moment, and his entire life just ended. A new one started in its place. That's not an exaggeration. That's literally what happens when someone wins the FIFA World Cup. Today, we're breaking down exactly how winning the biggest trophy on the planet rewires a human being's entire existence. Financially, mentally, physically, socially, and even historically. By the end of this video, you'll understand why players say lifting that trophy feels less like a victory and more like dying and being reborn as someone else. Quick thing before we dive in. For anyone new to football, the World Cup happens once every 4 years. It's the single biggest sporting event on Earth, bigger than the Olympics in TV viewership. Around half the planet tunes in at some point. So when we say winning changes everything, we're not talking about a regional trophy. We're talking about becoming famous to literally billions of people overnight. Let's start with money, because that's the part everyone assumes they understand. They don't. Most people think winning the World Cup means a nice bonus check. Wrong. It means becoming a walking brand. Companies don't just want good players, they want winners, because winners sell. A World Cup winner can suddenly charge double, sometimes triple, for endorsements, shoe deals, soda commercials, video game covers. Here's the wild part. Some players have made more money from sponsorships in the year after winning than in their entire careers before it. Think about that. 20 years of training, sweating, getting injured, grinding in academies most Americans have never heard of, and 90 minutes of football can outpace all of it financially. That's not normal in any other job on Earth. And it's not just the superstar who gets paid. Entire teams of role players, guys who barely touched the ball during the tournament, see their market value jump just for being World Cup champions on their resume. Clubs around the world will pay extra just to say they own a piece of that trophy, even secondhand. But here's where it gets interesting, because money is the boring part. The real transformation happens in the mind. Psychologists who study elite athletes have found something strange. Winning a World Cup creates what's basically an identity event. Before the trophy, a player is a footballer. After the trophy, they become a World Cup winner permanently, forever. Even when they're 80 years old, shuffling around with a cane, that title never goes away. It's stitched onto their name for the rest of their life. Compare that to almost any other achievement in sports. A great regular season gets forgotten in 5 years. A World Cup win gets carved into history books translated into languages the player doesn't even speak. Now, here's a fact that surprises most people. Winning can actually mess with a player's mental health, not always in a good way. Some players describe a strange emptiness right after lifting the trophy. Psychologists call it arrival fallacy. You chase a dream your entire life, you finally catch it, and then what? The mountain's been climbed. What do you climb next? Several World Cup winners have openly admitted falling into depression months after their biggest triumph, simply because nothing in life ever feels that intense again. Let that sink in for a second. The greatest moment of their career can become the hardest thing to live after. Let's look at one real example, because this isn't just theory. Lionel Messi, arguably the most scrutinized player in football history, spent almost 2 decades being called the greatest player to never win it. That single missing trophy followed him everywhere, in every interview, every debate, every comparison to his rivals. Then in 2022, at 35 years old, he finally won it with Argentina. Overnight, an entire 2-decade narrative about his career flipped. Articles that once questioned his legacy started calling him the greatest of all time, full stop. Same player, same skills. One trophy completely rewrote how history will remember him forever. That's how powerful this moment is. It doesn't just add to a career, it can override everything that came before it. Okay, pattern interrupt. Let's talk about something most fans never even think about, their hometown. When a player wins the World Cup, their entire town transforms overnight, literally. Streets get renamed after them. Statues go up. Local kids start showing up to practice wearing replica jerseys with that player's name on the back, dreaming of becoming the next one. In smaller countries, a single World Cup winner can boost national tourism, increase youth football participation by huge margins, and inspire government investment in sports facilities that didn't exist before. One goal, one match, and suddenly an entire generation of kids in some small town nobody could find on a map grows up believing anything is possible. That's the kind of power we're talking about here. Now let's flip to the other side of this, the country itself. Because winning isn't just life-changing for the player, it's life-changing for millions of strangers who've never even met him. When a nation wins the World Cup, something almost irrational happens. Strangers hug each other in the street. Businesses shut down so employees can celebrate. Entire economies see a temporary spike in spending and mood, with researchers tracking happiness levels jumping noticeably in the weeks following a win, sometimes more than after major economic news. A football match can make millions of people feel better about their lives than a stock market rally can. Why does this happen? Because football, more than almost any sport, taps into identity. For 90 minutes, every person watching, rich, poor, young, old, becomes the exact same thing. A fan hoping for the same outcome. When that outcome happens, the joy isn't just personal, it's shared, it's tribal, it's ancient, honestly. The same instinct that made humans cheer around fires thousands of years ago. Here's a surprising fact to chew on. Argentina's win in 2022 reportedly triggered some of the largest public gatherings in human history. Millions of people flooding the streets of Buenos Aires in a single day. Not for a war ending, not for an election, for a sport. That's the level of emotional gravity we're dealing with. And here's something most outsiders never realize. In some countries, a World Cup win has actually been linked to drops in crime rates and even improved mental health statistics nationwide, at least temporarily. A football match can shift the emotional weather of an entire population. No other event does that so reliably, so fast. Now let's bring it back to the players, because there's one more transformation worth talking about, and it's physical. Winning a World Cup changes how a player's body is treated for the rest of their career. Clubs see them differently. Coaches build entire game plans around them. Even referees, subconsciously, give slightly more respect to a proven winner. Studies on athlete psychology suggest officials and opponents treat World Cup winners with more caution, almost like an aura follows them onto the pitch. It's not magic, it's reputation shaping perception in real time. And get this, World Cup winners often extend their careers longer than non-winners. Why? Motivation. Many say winning made them hungrier, not satisfied. They didn't want one star on their legacy. They wanted to prove it wasn't luck. There's also a quieter shift that happens. Winners start training differently. Some hire personal chefs, recovery specialists, even sleep coaches, because suddenly they have the resources to optimize every single part of their life. The trophy doesn't just open doors, it rebuilds the entire house they live in. And it doesn't stop when their playing career ends. World Cup winners get first pick at coaching jobs. They get invited into broadcast booths. They get hired as ambassadors for the sport, sometimes for life. Winning isn't just a peak moment, it becomes a permanent career safety net that non-winners simply don't get, no matter how talented they were. So let's piece this all together. Winning the World Cup isn't one prize. It's 6 lives happening at once. A financial life that explodes overnight. A psychological life that shifts into a permanent new identity. A historical legacy that can get rewritten in a single match. A hometown that gets rebuilt around them. A nation that feels joy on a scale most events can't replicate. And a body, career, and future that get treated differently by everyone around them forever. It's not just a trophy, it's a life-splitting event. There's the person before that final whistle and a completely different person after it. And maybe that's the real reason billions of people watch the World Cup every 4 years. It's not really about the football. It's about watching someone's entire future get rewritten in real time, live in front of our eyes.
If this kind of breakdown blew your mind a little, you're gonna love what's coming next on this channel. We're going deeper into football than almost anyone else making content for beginners right now. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you in the next one.